If you have an online store and you want to double your store's revenue, this is what you need to do.
Look in the mirror, my reflection, a bag of money. Okay. I look in the mirror, my reflection, a bag of money. What? I look in the...
Something I want to talk about today is the 2x, 3x, 10x concept of increasing a business, increasing their revenue, increasing profits, etc., etc. And I want to make it simple for you guys. So my good friend Reynard was able to write up an equation that really simplified what we do to grow brands. That way we can communicate it to our clients easier, to show them exactly what we need to be able to take them to where they want to go, and also communicate to people who are trying to learn on their own how to grow brands, whether it's your own or your clients, how you get taken to that next level, right? But before we get into all the details, if you guys like this type of content, just go ahead and smash that like button. The YouTube algorithm needs to be busting, all right? Like, you see this sunlight, how this sunlight is busting right now? We need that YouTube algorithm to be busting that same way. That kind of sounds wrong. So check it out. A lot of times people think about doubling, tripling a store's revenue, and they think, oh, we just need double, triple the amount of times of traffic. And let me tell you, a lot of times that's not the way to go. You're overcomplicating the process, and you're probably making it more expensive than it needs to be. I'll tell you from personal experience. I had a client where I thought, you know, their conversion rate is this, their average order value is this. If I just triple the amount of traffic, then we should triple the amount of revenue. And let me tell you, it did not work out that way. We spent double the amount of money to triple the traffic and literally made the same amount of money. Big mistake on my part. But what I've learned from that is business does better when you look at it through a holistic lens. These are the three things that matter the most in your business: traffic, the amount of people that convert into paying customers, and the value of that customer. When we break this down, we're looking at your marketing and advertising. How are people getting to your site? How are people landing into your store? And then we're looking at the conversion rate of your site. So out of all the visitors and sessions that happen on your site, how many of them actually convert into customers? So we have to look at the site itself. This is pretty important. And finally, we're looking at the overall value of a customer. So this is going to be the average order value of a customer. When somebody shops on your store, on average, how much are they spending with you per order? And then we're also looking at the lifetime value of a customer, and that comes into retention, which is after people purchase, are they coming back to purchase with you again and again and again? And that part I want you guys to really pay attention to, because you can scale a business and you can spend tons of money and make tons of upfront revenue, but if you don't have that retention part, then the business over time can collapse on itself. And if you want more in-depth details on exactly how that can happen, how we can increase all those things, then check the link in my description after watching this video to join my Patreon, and I get really in detail about all these things that have allowed us to double, triple, quadruple stores revenue in under a year. So back on track, right? How do we double a store's revenue? Do we need to double our traffic and double our conversion rate and double the lifetime value of a customer? No, we don't actually. You can actually make it much simpler on yourself. All you need to do is increase each one of these factors by 30%. Let's take it back to the laptop and do the math on this. It all comes down to this simple equation: visitors times your conversion rate and average order value times your lifetime value. These are the most key metrics to how you make money, right? So let's take this example here. If you have 10,000 visitors on your site and 1% of those visitors convert at a $50 average order value, then you're gonna make $5,000, right? So we have 100 customers. This 1% conversion rate, we have 100 customers out of these 10,000 visitors, right? And those 100 customers on average spend $50 with us, so we make $5,000. What happens when we just increase each one of these things by 30%? That means we have 13,000 visitors instead of 10,000. It means we have a 1.3% conversion rate instead of a 1%. And that means we have a $65 average order value instead of a $50 average order value. So when we put all those things together, look at the magic. Now we're making over double what we were making before. Very simple. But here's the thing. This is just upfront money. Remember when I told you, you can spend a bunch of money to acquire a bunch of customers, but if you're not doing the retention on it, then you can ultimately see the demise of your business. You need returning customers. It's one of the fundamental requirements of any long-term successful business. So again, my friend Reynard created this beautiful chart mapping out what the difference looks like when you take everything into account, including the customer return rate. Here we have example 1. This is our starting point. Let's say in the last 180 days, we've had 5,000 unique customers, okay? And those 5,000 customers on average spend $50 with us. 10% of those 5,000 customers purchase with us again. So now we have 5,500 orders total. Those 5,000 customers ordered 5,500 times from us because we have a certain frequency, right? If this was a 1, then the orders and the customers would be the same. So in the last 180 days, we made $275,000 in revenue. Now, what happens when we increase these 3 things right here, your customers, average order value, and purchase frequency by 30%? This is what we're looking at. We now have 6,500 customers instead of 5,000, right? So at this stage, this is where we're talking about the conversion rate, the visitors that we're turning into customers. We've increased this by 30%. Now we have 6,500 customers. Then those 6,500 customers on average spend $65 with us instead of $50. And then instead of 10% of those customers coming back to purchase with us again, we now have 43% of these 6,500 customers coming to purchase with us again. So let's take a look at this. We now have a higher amount of customers to start with who are now ordering from us more frequently. So now we have significantly more orders than before. And we didn't have to make any major changes to nearly double the orders. Now we're looking at 9,295 orders, and they are spending on average with us more money as well. So at the end of the next 180 days, we'd be making just over $600,000, which is more than double what we started with. And we didn't have to double anything here. All we had to do was make small incremental increases to make the world of a difference in the business. There's a big difference between a business making $275,000 and $600,000, especially if you don't have to spend significantly more to acquire those customers. And what happens when you have a high return rate is you're likely not, if you're doing it right, you're likely not spending a lot of money to get these customers to come purchase again. So it works out really well for everybody.
See, how easy was that? All we had to do was put in a little improvement in each area to double the business. We don't have to spend double the money to acquire each customer. We don't have to bank on doubling the average order value and doubling the lifetime value of a customer and retention rate. If things are really like that, it would take a really long time to scale businesses, because that's an immense amount of change in each area that would have to happen for as little as doubling a business to take place. I hope this simplified things. I hope it helped you guys out. Again, if you want more detail, more in-depth how-to on how to increase the conversion rate on a store, how to get more traffic to the site profitably, the strategy behind that in the first place using Facebook ads, and also how to increase your customer return rate or your retention rate or the lifetime value of a customer. These are the things that I talk about in my Patreon, and you'll get more in-depth detail on how to implement all of these winning e-commerce strategies to make the difference in your business. Okay, so go ahead and subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and go ahead and check out my Patreon if you want to get more in detail with it. All right, peace guys.
Reality ain't what we see, reality is what we think.